Hello and welcome to our special program on Pacific Partnerships for Prosperity. I'm Wang Mengmang. Senior officials from Pacific Island countries are gathering in China's southeastern city of Xiamen for their third foreign ministers meeting. They've crossed an ocean and mountains to foster a partnership that transcends differences. Over the past decades, China and Pacific Island countries have worked together on shared priorities, from infrastructure development, economic resilience, to fighting climate change and preserving maritime ecosystems. Mutual respect and inclusive growth are deeply embedded in their relations. And today we are honored to have an esteemed panel of guests for our roundtable discussion. Joining us are Daulton Tagalagi, Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of Niue. Welcome.
Thank you.
Lauren Robert, Foreign Secretary of the Federated States of Micronesia. Welcome. Mark Ati, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Vanuatu. Welcome. And Justin Kachenko, Foreign Minister of Papua New Guinea. Welcome.
Thank you.
And Lenora Kira-Kira-Tabwa, Assistant Foreign Minister of Fiji. Welcome. So you've all traveled a long way. A very warm welcome to all of you. Let's begin our discussion with a look at the achievements and progress of bilateral relations. China and Pacific Island countries have maintained frequent exchanges despite shifting dynamics around the world. So, Prime Minister Tagalagi, what are some of the key driving forces that you see have been pushing forward this relationship?
These kind of partnerships or kind of dialogue, it's very important that you have it in person, that shares or speak frankly about some of the challenges or some of the commitments or some of the achievements that is important between China and the Pacific. But I can speak shortly about Niue, the importance of this engagement as a young diplomatic partner of China. We can see some great developments because of the relationship, sharing and understanding from each other. Mutual respect for each other was something that was always there. But what is it? For a bigger developed country can support or modernize a small developed country such as Niue. Niue is a dependent little island, and we need all that support. But more so, what the bigger developed country can learn from the undeveloped countries such as Niue as well. So, but for the relationship, it's very important for China and within the Pacific region. As long as we have and understand, respect each other, but also respect the sovereign rights of the individual countries. And there's no doubt to the rest of the Pacific countries in the Pacific. So that is important, but more so the friendship, as we all know. We all shared one world, and it's important that we all come together, whether it's the Pacific and China or the Pacific and the rest of the world. So we need to understand that.
Mutual understanding is also a key. Now, Secretary Robert, your thoughts on this? Because we've seen both your president and vice president visiting China since last year. Tell us more about your thoughts on mutual exchanges.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Let me also join the sentiments of Tiro Fairo to your excellencies, the honorable ministers and colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. First, please allow me to extend my personal appreciations to speak on this platform and highlight the bilateral ties between FSM and PRC. Our discussion today not only adds meaningful values to our bilateral ties, but more importantly, to allow the greater audience to understand and become more familiar with our long-standing comprehensive strategic partnership with China, which has matured to almost 36 years ago, since 36 years ago. Thank you indeed for the question. I'm very happy to say that my country, the FSM, deeply values this relationship with China, and sustaining our bilateral ties hinges on several key principles and collaborative efforts. Firstly, this is in respect to our mutual respect and sovereignty. Second, sustainable development cooperation and climate action solidarity, people-to-people and cultural ties, economic equity and trade, diplomatic consistency and dialogue, and of course, adherence to the shared principle. By focusing on these principles, I must mention FSM and China can continue to navigate global dynamics as trusted partners, ensuring a resilient and prosperous future for our peoples.
And Minister Ati, what do you think has made this collaboration between China and Vanuatu particularly remarkable? Could you give us some examples?
Yes, Vanuatu firstly acknowledge and welcome China's vision of building a community with a shared future with the Pacific Island countries. This vision reflects a shared value of solidarity and mutual development and respect for sovereignty. The key principles that have underpinned the Vanuatu-China relationship for decades for Vanuatu common development means working together to improve infrastructure, roads, wharves, and airports that connects our island and communities, strengthen health system including medical support and pandemic response, support agriculture innovation to improve local livelihood of our peoples, build climate resilience, helping us update to rising sea levels and extreme weather events, expand trade and market access, and supporting Vanuatu to expand to China.
All right, thank you. And Minister Chichenko, would you like to share your thoughts on this? As the biggest Pacific Island nation, what do you prioritize in this bilateral relationship?
We have a very strong relationship with China. We'll be celebrating 50 years of diplomacy and diplomatic relations going forward. China is one of our biggest economic and trade partners for our country and assists greatly in infrastructure and development in many different ways, privately as well as government to government and grant. Our country since 1975 has always adapted and pursued and supported the One China policy, which is very important to move forward and respect one's sovereignty. And this is something that Papua New Guinea has enhanced, and going forward we'll have a prosperous relationship with China. We have a lot of ongoing projects that will enhance the lives of Papua New Guineans. We are working through the One Belt, One Road initiative of China, which greatly enhances the economic and trade with Papua New Guinea and China, and increases the prosperity of our people going forward in many different sectors, from education to health and to the well-being of our people and their future going forward. So for us, the relationship with China is no mistake. It is a positive attribute to our country, and we look forward to continuing our relationship with China, growing our countries together, with also Papua New Guinea moving forward to becoming a member of ASEAN. PNG is in a strategic position where it's in both the South Pacific as well as Southeast Asia. So we can balance the two in one. And China plays a major role in that development. So otherwise, we look forward to our future relationship, and it only can get stronger and better from here.
Thank you. And Madam Lenora, what do you see as some of the key factors in sustaining bilateral relations?
Thank you. Like Minister Chichenko, Fiji is also has enjoyed 50 years of bilateral relations with China, and we will be celebrating this on the 5th of November this year. But for us in Fiji, as I know is reciprocated by the People's Republic of China, it's about mutual respect and an understanding of country and of people. China understanding the Pacific way, how Fiji is part of the Pacific and how we have our cultures and traditions, and us in Fiji also reciprocating that understanding so that we can build this relationship together. But at the same time, while we agree on many things, we also understand that as two sovereign nations, we have divergent interests. So for us, the talanoa, the conversations, doing things the Pacific way, speaking about it over conversations, over food, over a kava, if you will, helps build this relationship. So it's about mutual trust, mutual understanding.
Thank you. And now we'd like to shift our attention to some specific areas of cooperation. For a lot of people here in China, Pacific Island countries are distant, beautiful, and sometimes even mysterious. And of course, the harmony and the coexistence between man and nature is a common pursuit of the PICs. And it's the same story here for China. We understand that there's a lot of initiatives taking place. For example, Niue is the world's first dark sky country that really enforces a very strict light out policy to minimize artificial lighting. And also your country has set 40% of its exclusive economic zone under strict protections. And these are certainly huge commitments. Where does this resolve come from? And how could China do its part under this framework as a partner?
Well, this is all the experiences that we inherited, what we know. And the world today is changing with doing things in the new way. How do you really understand the darkness and the importance of seeing the stars, right? Niueans and Pacific people are guided by the stars. So it's important as part of a collective decision in order to preserve some of these things. These are some of the initiatives that we thought that it's important for the future. And of course, the conservation commitment, it's our island-driven initiative, which has been very welcomed or understand more now by the world. It's something that we thought, instead of relying on others, we use our own imagination, traditional knowledge and all others, how we can seek, because the challenge is always getting the support, the financial support in order to implement some of these initiatives. But I'm so happy for this initiative that's taking off now, because we think it's going to benefit not only us in Niue, but it's going to benefit the small island development states that's in the same situation as us. We go out to big conferences, we go out to the COPs, the area end of the year, but it's all talk fest. Reality is small island states are suffering, so they've got to do something about it, and this is what we're doing. And unfortunately, most of these are ordinary people around the world that has that understanding of what it meant to keep the oceans, because we oceans people, we got to maintain the health of the oceans, but this is part of our contribution to a healthy planet. There's unfortunately small island states are doing that, and they're bearing the full brunt when we come down to climate change and the challenges that we have regarding climate. But that's our part. So what we're doing, we're trying to lead from the front, from a small island, of course, and hopefully the others can take note and support it, or understand why are we doing it. So we're not only doing it for ourselves, but we're doing for the betterment of the planet that we live in.
We do see splits between the pledges and promises, and it's a different story when it comes to implementation sometimes. So, Secretary Robert, each island country has had its own story and struggle dealing with the impact of climate change. And of course, Pacific Island countries agreed on this 2050 strategy for the Blue Pacific continent, which serves as a roadmap for the PICs to really address these climate challenges. Now, with China as a partner under this framework, where do you see cooperation? in future-looking areas? For example, how could China help? Does China have a role to play here?
Thank you very much. Certainly, there is no doubt about the role that China has been playing with us in Micronesia. It's a very unique and very, what should we say, in terms of the kind of assistance that we receive from China. And I'm very glad to hear from the comments made by my colleague from Niue in terms of the traditional leadership, for example, and also even for our own traditional knowledge for within our culture, for like what's up in the skies, in the moon, for the nights of the moon. Because yes, for us in Micronesia, not as from the rest of the Pacific, we may not have reached the moon, but we are still among the stars. And that's the comment that he made. And for that, I like that very much. And it's something that it keeps for us to keep going at it as part of our future, but most importantly, for our children, our children's children, and for the new generation, that they will soon carry out what we have started as part of our relationship with China. We've been doing that. As a matter of fact, as you know, in our Micronesia, we're very serious, and sometimes we have to know what night of the moon, the tide. That's because the fishermen there exactly know where to go and what to look for, what kind of fishing gears to bring, for most of our traditional knowledge. So I just want to share and comment, that especially the sentiments expressed by my colleague here. Yeah. Thank you very much.
It's certainly an aspiration.
That's right.
Thank you. Madame Lenora, I'd like to ask you about poverty alleviation, because we understand that Fiji's Prime Minister, Sitiveni Rabuka, during his official visit to China last year, he had a keen interest in the poverty alleviation endeavor. How could some of Chinese practices and experiences be combined with Fiji's pursuit?
Thank you. Yes, when my Prime Minister, Mr. Rabuka, visited China in August last year, visited Yunnan Province, Malipo County to be exact, he witnessed China's remarkable transformation in poverty eradication, lifting millions of your people out of poverty, particularly in rural areas. And in Malipo, the Prime Minister saw the possibilities of what Fiji can learn from China's systematic lifting out of poverty. So it wasn't just about handouts, it was about teaching a man or teaching a family to fish instead of just giving them the fish, as you know. So it was noted by the Prime Minister and the team that the rural revitalization approach was implemented and executed by the central government in Yunnan Province at the provincial level, at prefecture and county levels. So in Fiji's poverty eradication context, we're considering the village by village initiative to mirror what our learnings are from China, as was put forward by the Honorable Prime Minister during his visit last year. And our Ambassador Robert Lee, has been given that mandate by the Prime Minister. Our ambassador to China has been given that mandate by the Prime Minister to find out as much as possible about the systematic approach of China's in helping us to learn from China's examples. This strategic initiative is a major departure from decades of established development approaches and the models that have been adopted and put into practice in Fiji over the many years. So while this initiative is yet untested in Fiji, its foundation and its concept is anchored on insights and learning from our Prime Minister's successful trip to Yunnan Province last year, and about the poverty eradication successes in rural ethnic communities and villages in China that have relevance to the rural and the maritime communities that we have in Fiji.
And yet, just picking up on this topic, I'd like to have your thoughts on this, Minister Ati. I mean, the Pacific Island countries have rich experiences and traditions in managing their natural resources. But going forward now, how could these indigenous wisdom be combined with the help of modern technology?
Thank you. Yes, Vanuatu, like many Pacific Island countries, treasure its stunning natural environment. Many marines and land resources enrich in an indigenous knowledge system that have guided resources management for generations. Our people have a long practice in stewardship, sustainable fishing and agroforestry and conservation customs that are deeply tied to our culture, identity, and survival. So the challenge and the opportunity today is to combine this indigenous wisdom and modern science and technology to address agent environmental pressure like climate change, biodiversity, and natural disaster. In Vanuatu-China relationship, we see several areas where this partnership can happen. Vanuatu face rising sea level and a stronger cyclone, but our communities have time-tested coping strategy by combining this with China advanced technology and infrastructure, early warning system, and renewable energy. We can better protect our people and environment. Vanuatu customary marine holding system where communicate manage local fishing grounds can benefit from China marine scientist expertise, satellite monitoring, and sustainable aquaculture technology to ensure healthy ocean for future generations.
Papua New Guinea is one of the largest countries in Pacific Island countries, and we know the development of the Jinsao technology is really one prime example of agricultural cooperation between China and the PICs. And it also started the earliest, and with the help of the Jinsao technology, it was pretty interesting to learn that Jinsao is considered the grass of happiness and prosperity, and some parents even name their children Jinsao. But then what changes have you seen the development of this technology brought to the PNG, as well as the skills and opportunities that associated with it?
Well, thank you very much. Agriculture is a traditional part of life of most Papua New Guineans, especially in the highlands. And we're very honoured and privileged to have your president in Eastern Highlands, where they introduced the mushroom growing and inland wheat growing in that region nearly over 20 years ago, when your president was the governor, I think, of this province. It is an initiative that has enlightened our people with new technologies in agriculture. It has put a new market that we didn't have before, especially in mushroom growing. It's put new technologies that we wouldn't have had before to make a sustainable living. And with your assistance and help, it's allowed us to spread this technology throughout the country and increase our agricultural yield and increase food capacity for our people as well. This technology also gives a different insight of how partnership between China and Papua New Guinea can move forward in the social sector, not only in the agricultural sector, people-to-people relationship. Very, very important to know how to respect each other, how to work, share ideas, share new customs, share different techniques that can benefit all of us in the long term. So this new agricultural practices that have been introduced is a benefit to Papua New Guinea for the long term. It's been going successfully for over 20 years now, and we look forward to continuing and spreading that important message and techniques and agricultural processes throughout the country for the benefit of our people.
Yeah. Minister Ati, can I ask you this? Because we understand some technicians from Vanuatu also visited the Jinsao Technology Demonstration Center in Fiji. How do you see its role in boosting knowledge sharing within the region?
Thank you. Yes, our indigenous farming methods as intercropping and permaculture can be strengthened with China innovation when they come in sustainable agriculture, water management and climate resilient crops, and boosting food security without regarding ecosystem.
And Secretary Robert, can I have your thoughts on this, please? The exchange of the know-how of the Jinsao technology in boosting regional connectivity.
It mirrors the spirit of collective management. This model of partnership rooted in equity and mutual benefit strengthens regional connectivity by demonstrating how shared challenges can be met through shared innovations. Simply put, this Xintao Center is more than just a demonstration site. It is a symbol of how a pragmatic, inclusive cooperation can be achieved. By integrating sustainable agriculture with regional knowledge sharing and human connections, it advances our vision of a resilient, interconnected Pacific and China. Such initiatives, grounded in mutual respect and aligned with our climate and development interests, are essential to building a future where no island is left behind. Thank you very much.
And Chinese President Xi Jinping has stated that the policy toward Pacific Island nations is based on 4 fully respects. That's in terms of political, as well as economic, cultural, as well as regional cooperation. So, Prime Minister Tagalagi, how have these respects shaped the foundations of relations between our two sides?
To hear it firsthand and to learn it firsthand, the commitment. It's one thing saying it, but the other to action it. And you felt that the genuine about the respect from China and to the Pacific. And these are some of the things why it's important, where we in person in upholding these important topics when you say it and when you talk. Respect is about everything. When we talk about earlier on some of the questions that we look, for us, especially in Niue, we're losing most of the traditional knowledge because of those have passed on, that we rely heavily on modern technologies instead of embracing our own, our true cultures and values and the traditional knowledge, something that now in other words, we're going backwards now. So it's driven, one of the big initiatives when we talk about climate change is driven by the Boys Brigade and the Girls Brigade, and trying to revive that and make sure that we document. I think in the relationship, one of those documentation in the islands is all about in here, but was never in a file that can be stored away for further understanding for those what I call tomorrow's people. So it's important to make sure that we have that. But I know and also notice that China have that very strong connection and passing on from older generation to generation. Yeah. And I think they're in the same. So that's important for the Pacific to have that cooperation, the working relationship with China. We see that it's very important for us, reminding ourselves. Some of the things today, yes, modern technology and others, but they still rely on some of those information in the past, which comes down again to the traditional knowledge. But that is why we're here, and that is why it's important of these discussions to be undertaken, especially in persons, because you can feel that genuine when you talk to one another, and you can gauge it by yourselves. What is it? Is it just what has been put out there, or partnerships getting stronger, or just partnership for the sake of partnerships? But I felt after my bilateral with the minister, Wang Yi, that you can feel that sense of genuine between our relationship. And it's not only for Niue, but I guess it will also with the Pacific, because the Pacific, especially here, to have that dialogue with the minister on behalf of the people of China.
Madame Leonor, how would you see the four fully respects and shaping relations between our two sides?
Thank you. I think for those who don't know what the four fully respects are, as outlined by your revered President, President Xi, these include fully respecting the sovereignty and independence of Pacific Island countries in building our relationships, fully respecting the will of Pacific Island countries, fully respecting the ethnic and traditional traditions of the Pacific, and fully respecting the Pacific Island countries' efforts to seek strength through unity. And that has been how we have had our relationship with China over the soon-to-be celebrated 50 years. It's important for Fiji, in our context, we will be celebrating the 50th anniversary, and our cooperation over the years reflects the common interests that we hold between Fiji and China. The leaders' consensus, as per the outcomes of my Prime Minister's visit, expressly states that the parties, and I quote, have agreed to continue to deepen their comprehensive partnerships, which is also embodied in the four fully respects. So for us, it's knowing that China, as our partner, fully respects our sovereignty and our decisions to make decisions based on our needs in our own context, and likewise our relationship with China. So, and that's the same for our relationships with other bilateral relationships. Mutual respect is one of the most important things, and the ability to know that we can't solve anything overnight, and it takes the Pacific way, having the conversations, the talanoas, that can take months, years, generations even.
And of course, a big part of this mutual respect is understanding the true need and interest of a country's development. So, Minister Chichenko, China really is interested in helping explore growth opportunities that are suitable for local conditions. Have you seen some of this vision being implemented in collaborative projects?
Yes, we've seen some really great projects come forward with our partnership with China, and also our sister city relationships with Shenzhen and other provinces, really inspired to bring our two countries closer together. The people-to-people relationship between China and Papua New Guinea is very important, and it has come out through an investment into a school called Butuka Academy, which is a school of excellence and a friendship school between China and Papua New Guinea, which educates over 3,000 Papua New Guineans every year, from elementary, primary to high school. It's a state-of-the-art school as well. We have our secondary school and primary school students being taught Chinese, and some of them can probably speak better Chinese than most Chinese can. They have adapted to it very well, and we also have international competitions now in that regard, and it has become a great success. And since the construction of that school and the opening of the school by the Chinese president in 2018, in 7 years, the school has now become the 5th highest ranking academy in the whole of the country. Now that shows you the dedication and the will and the need of partnership in this sector, which has really enhanced our relationship with China in our future generations. And that's going to be going on for a long, long time. And we look forward to the other projects as well in health and also in infrastructure development, roads and hotels and many other things that China private sector and government have contributed to. So at the end of the day, we have a great relationship in many different sectors in our country that Chinese government and companies have contributed to the enhancement of our people and our country going forward. So there's a lot of great success stories, a lot of positive stories that are not just for now, but also for tomorrow as well. Remember, Papua New Guinea has a population of around over 10 million people. We have over 800 different unique languages, as well as 1,000 tribes. So managing that and having a democracy that allows us to keep us together is a feat in itself. And with working on that, on our relationships with all the different sectors, China comes in as a strong economic and trade partner that helps boost our economy and moves us forward in many different areas.
Minister Tkachenko, may I have your response to some external influences in this bilateral relationship, and why has this partnership become a source of concern for some countries?
Respecting one's sovereignty is very important, and Papua New Guinea respects totally China's sovereignty, the One China policy, for the last 50 years. And it comes down to mutual understanding and respect, comes to working together for the needs of one another. Where we, if you wind back the clock in World War II, China was an ally to all of us in World War II. We all worked together for one cause. And now we're divided in different areas, whether it's to do with politics or trade or economic power. The situation is it's dividing our world, and it's a challenging world as we speak. China is a huge player in the system and must be respected. And we, as Papua New Guinea, our closest traditional neighbours are Australia and New Zealand and Indonesia. They share our borders, and we work together with them with mutual understanding and respect each other's sovereignty, and we partner together for the best of our region. A divided region in this situation is not good for anybody. Our PIF, all our Pacific Island leaders and countries, we need to all work together at this time. And when you have China in play, they can be a stabilizing situation for all of us, and support us in many different ways that other countries cannot. So going forward, yes, there are outside influences that would like us not to deal with China. They would not like us to do any work with China, whether it comes from security to economic empowerment to trade. But that's the choice of our country, to make the decisions of what we feel is best for us going forward into the future and for our people. It's not a mistake that we are working with China in the economic and trade areas. That's the future for Papua New Guinea going forward as a huge petroleum and gold and natural resources country. And China is one of our biggest commodity purchasers and buyers that support Papua New Guinea. So it's a win-win. Never bite the hand that feeds you, and work together in one for the benefit of all.
As China and Pacific Island countries continue to navigate complexities, we're also here to celebrate the solidarity that's taken us this far. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank you, Prime Minister Tagalagi, and Secretary Robert, Minister Ati, Minister Tkachenko, and Madame Lenora. Thank you. We've heard insights from those shaping this partnership firsthand, and every voice contributes to a better understanding. That's the end of our program. Thanks for being with us.